Hello, hello. This is Dr. Hines. This is my 30-minute, 20-minute drive into work, drive from work, drive to run errands, cleaning around the house. Um, just to put some thoughts in your head, uh, this is for parents of high school students who may not be considering college as their next step after high school. This is also good for students to kind of listen to help formulate your thoughts as you finish high school and you're going to make this transition into a different area or field that won't involve college. First, let me say that I am, as one who's worked in education for as long as I have absolutely no problem with students who decide not to go to college after high school. I think for a lot of students, um, it's it's one of a decision. Some of it's based on the fact that they have been in school for so long and they just need a break. And some students will decide later on to go to college, maybe a year, two, or three, but they just want to get out and work and earn some money, save some money. Um, some students don't want to be in a lot of debt when they transition to college, and so they want to go to work and save up money. And I think that's a very smart thing to do. And some students just flat out don't want to go to college. They want to just work or they want to do some other options. And so, what I want to do in this presentation is to share with you my three options that when I have discussions with students, the directions that most of them go, and talk about that and how, as a parent, you can kind of navigate that with your child. But again, first, I will reiterate that when your child comes to you and says, I just don't want to go to college, I know you may have gone to college or you think highly of college or you think college is necessary, but there are a plethora of people who make good money and live wonderful lives, and they have never sat in a college classroom to date. Um, I know people who make apps, build programs. I mean, look no further than the founder of Facebook. I mean, he went to college and dropped out and created Facebook, which is what we still use now. And he makes a very good amount of money doing that. So, and everybody's not going to have the ability to do that. But what I'm saying is, getting that college degree may not always be for everybody. And I would prefer a child to decide on either delaying or not going to college and not putting themselves in debt than to go to college because of the pressure and get there and maybe do a year or 2 years and now they're in debt over something they never really wanted to do in the first place. So, but when I talk about life after high school without college, I have three options that I always talk about with students. The first one is the armed forces. And I think there is no greater honor that an individual can have, or no greater service that an individual can do in this country than serve in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard. I think those are honorable professions. And, I always give homage to our veterans who provide us with the safety that we have to live the life that we have. And you really don't understand that or appreciate that until you have the opportunity to leave these United States and see how it is in other countries and realize that, we're blessed and very fortunate here in the United States. And what we have in these United States, although United States may not be perfect, is we have freedoms that other countries don't have. And I think if a student decides to go into armed forces, it's very honorable. But there needs to be a plan. You know, There's some people that go into the armed forces and they make a career of it. And while you're in the armed forces, you can earn advanced degrees. You can save a lot of money because a lot of what you're going to be doing when you're enlisted, they're going to pay for. So when you get money, you can save a lot of money. And so whether you do 4 years, 10 years, or you do a career and you retire at a certain point, you're going to come out with a lot of money up front to do some of the things that a lot of people can't do. So, and there are a lot of benefits to being a veteran. I know when I lived in Norfolk, Virginia, which is where the biggest, Navy headquarters it is in the country. Everywhere you went, you got a discount for being a veteran. Whether you wanted to buy a car, whether you wanted to buy a house, whether you wanted to buy anything, they gave discounts to veterans. And I just think it's honorable if you're a veteran. And so I think it's a viable option, but you need to come in with a plan. What do you want to do? And I know when I talk with a lot of students about the armed forces, their point of trepidation, their hesitation is I don't want to go to war. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to see combat. And I simply say that's just one of the possibilities that can happen. I know people who have been in the armed forces for, I don't know, a particular period of time, let's just say 4 years, and they never saw combat. And they're a vet. They did it, they experienced it, and then they wanted to, once they did that 4 years, they fulfilled that commitment and they were honorably discharged and they moved on with their lives. And I think that's perfectly fine. Some of them went on and took the money that they earned from that and went to college. They used it to buy a home. A lot of great things happened from that. So I think it's an honorable thing to do, but you have to come in with a plan. And I think as a parent, if you're supporting a child that wants to do that, I strongly encourage, if they're really interested in that they become active in their JROTC in high school, whether it's Army, Navy, whatever branch uh, is there, that they get active with that, because there's benefits to that, and it kind of indoctrinates them into what military life will be like before they actually get enlisted. So that's one option. Another thing is apprenticeships. And when it comes to apprenticeships, I will tell you, for me, I am a huge advocate of career and technical education. I believe that as much as this world needs doctors, lawyers, congressmen, senators, you need somebody that can repair your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning units. You need someone who can help build and frame homes, set foundations, put up siding, put up windows, put up roofs. Um, you need someone that can provide electricity, someone that can provide your home with Wi-Fi, somebody that can make sure that your house is level. Um, somebody who does graphic imaging to put up billboards and signs. There's a wide range of avenues that you can go in the career and technical education fields. I am so interested in those fields. I did my dissertation on the perspectives that school counselors and administrators have in advocating for career and technical education programs to high school students. Because in as much as we push college, 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 we need people in those fields. We desperately need those people in those fields. Um, I always tell, when I talk with students about career and technical education, I always tell the story of how one summer in the middle of July, my air conditioning just went out on a Saturday, and sweating, and in order to get someone to come out on the weekend was like $300-$400. And so waited until Monday, got someone to come out, and they not only fixed the problem, but the AC blew colder than it did when it did work. It only took him 2.5, 3 hours. That was $1,100 bill. He didn't come to the house with a three-piece suit on. He didn't come to the house with a portfolio, leather portfolio, Italian shoes, Gucci, Prada, Fendi. No, he came with a shirt, jeans, boots, tool bag, toolbox. I showed him the unit, and he took it from there. I couldn't tell him what was wrong other than it's not working. That's all I could tell him. But we need people like that. You know, these beautiful homes that you see, they're getting built by people who know how to measure wood. They know how to measure 30 times and cut once. They know how to frame a home. They know how to set a foundation for a home so that it's level. They know how to properly put in windows so when it rains, the water doesn't leak in. They know how to, put in outlets throughout a home so if you plug something in, it doesn't cause a spark that blows up the home. There's so many things that we need. And some of these fields, they don't require a college degree. And you could you become the job because you are the quantity that people need. When people are in the wintertime and their heat goes out, they need somebody to come and fix the heat. They're not asking where you went to school or, no, they're asking to say, can you fix it? Yes. Okay. And that's what it is. So I think even in those fields, you need to come in with a plan. And that's why I always talk about apprenticeships. You're going to come in at the ground floor. You're going to come in at base level. But if you stick to it, you're going to learn a lot and you're going to be a commodity and you're going to be in high need and high value because you have a particular skill that you can do that everybody else can't do. And, this perception that, these jobs are working with your hands, you're not really using your mind. I've sat in quite a few electrician classes, carpentry classes. It's very in-depth. And as intelligent and smart as I think I am, I that is not what I could put my brain around and digest. But I've seen 17, 18, 19-year-old students not only digest it, but they flourish in it. It just comes naturally to them. They know how to think but use their hands and do things. I mean, you see these homes with these beautiful decks. It took someone with their hands that had a mind and a brain and an idea that knew how to do it to make it look the way that it did. So I'm all for apprenticeships. I just think that parents need to have conversations with their child about having a plan. And the last thing is just going to work. And this is the area where I have, mixed feelings on. Because and working with students, some students just want to go to work because they're just tired of school. They're tired of being in the classroom. And they just want to work and they want to earn some money because they want to get themselves a car. They want to get themselves a place to live. They want to be able to go hang out every weekend and spend money and live the good life. And that's all good and fine and well, but understand that you're not making but so much money in these jobs. And what happens is for some students, they get these jobs and they work and they get these items that are actually more than they can afford. But because the payments are so high, they have to keep working. And now the idea of ever going to college or ever doing anything else gets thrown out because they're indebted to, I have to pay this card, or I have to do this, I have to do that. And so if you're going to go to work, what's your plan? If you're going to work at, Walmart, what's going to be your plan? Are you planning to work your way up to be an assistant manager, store manager, general manager? You make great money doing that. And I know a lot of students who've done that and they do great. And I am all for that. But those are students that came in with a plan. They realize that even if I don't go to college, I'm still going to have to learn new things in order for me to progress in that particular area or field. That I'm not just going to be able to, walk in and just get these jobs and progress and move up naturally. Um, what I believe, and this may be a controversial statement, but what I believe one of the fundamental purposes of parenthood is to raise your child so that they can live independently as an adult. You teach them, you give them chores. You teach them how to, clean a kitchen, clean a bedroom, take out the trash. You're teaching them these skills so that one day they can live independently. You don't want to have a child that's in their, 30s and 40s and they're working, but they're not moving to live independently. They're perfectly comfortable living with you as they move through life. And in some situations that works fine. And whatever works for you, that's fine. But in some situations, parents want to kind of live their life and say, okay, I raised you. It's time for you. I want to come over your house and have dinner. I want to come over your house and watch the game. We don't have to live in the same home anymore. Because when you were a child, it was appropriate. But as an adult, you need to move out and do your own thing. And there's a lot of situations with that. I know people who have moved out and then moved back home because their parents were sick, and that's a whole different conversation. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to go to work with a purpose. Go to work with a plan. Go to work to move up, to become something, to do something, to be skilled in that field. Don't just get a job just to get a job, because what happens is you get a job, you get a little money, you spend the money, but then where's the growth? Where's the progression? Where are you going with this? And that's my only thing with going to work. I'm for it if it works. I'm for it if it's advantageous to the student, but I have hesitation when I have students who go to work with no plan. They're just going to work, and I'm just working to pay bills, because you could do that for the rest of your life, but not really live the life that you want. And I think most parents, when they raise their child, they want their child to live the life that they want. I mean, my parents wanted me to do better than them. And that's why they sacrificed the way that they did to provide me with the opportunity. But I had to implement that plan on my own. And so, like I said, armed forces, apprenticeship, career and technical education fields, and just going to work. Now, as I said, all of these things could change. The child could go to the armed forces while they're enlisted and they're active duty. They can earn a bachelor's and master's degree. They could get an apprenticeship, and the job can actually pay them to go to school to get an engineering degree. There's a lot of different avenues that can happen with that. And some of it ties back to going to a college or a university for higher learning, and that's fine. I always say, if you can get somebody else to pay for the education, go for it. But it's important that you have this conversation and you listen to the child, not just to understand what their plan is, but why their plan is the way that it is. Why do you want to go to the armed forces? Why? What is leading you to want to be an electrician, be a carpenter? What is leading you to want to just get a job after high school and not go to college? What are you planning to go at some point? Do you feel that it's too expensive? Do you not want to put that financial burden on yourself? I think all of those are healthy conversations to have with the child. And it needs to be an open conversation. The child needs to be able to express how they feel. Look, I want to do this because I feel this. Because at the end of the day, it's their life. You can impress upon them what you want as a parent, but it's their life. And if they're living to live up to an expectation, sometimes that's detrimental for them. And that pressure causes stress. It can cause depression. It can cause anxiety. And as our children transition from the children in our homes to adults, we need to support their ideas, but also foster a plan for their success. So that's just my little talk. Uh, Parents that are dealing with students and students who are deciding, look, I don't want to go to college, but these are some avenues that I can look into so that I can live a happy and a productive life. This is Dr. Hines. If you like what you heard, again, please hit the like button, subscribe. I appreciate comments. Thank you for listening, and until next time.